Cruising like Jack Bauer. His name is Forest Power. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, YouTube. Oh man, it has been so long since I uttered those words. And I thought that I'd offer this video as a bit of a comeback. And it's as much to kind of like make sense of the world around me as anything else, guys, if I'm honest. It's been like 8 years since I recorded a video, and it feels like the YouTube community scene has taken off in a way that I couldn't even imagine that to when I started doing gameplay commentaries like 8 years ago that it would. But I don't really want to kind of dwell on gameplay commentaries or even where I've been for the past couple of years, because, you know, I have realised over that time period that like I had a great medium and a great platform, even as a small-time YouTube commentator, for just offering my opinion on the world around me and having people listen, which is a very powerful thing. And I think that, you know, the way in which 2020 unravelled and the way in which 2021 continues to kind of shake down, it's become like blindingly obvious to me that the world is becoming an increasingly strange place, and that's going to be the focus of this commentary today, really, guys. I remember back about 5 or 6 years ago, I was kind of freaked out by the fact that in the UK there were reports, I'm sure this happened in America and further afield as well, there were grown adults dressed as killer clowns all over the streets. And I remember thinking, what is this all about? Like, it feels like some kind of movie. And then Donald Trump got elected into the White House. Nothing against him politically, really. It's just that I never anticipated someone with such a celebrity status to become the most powerful person in the world. Then you fast forward to 2020 and the COVID pandemic, and I don't know, I'm just kind of waiting for, you know, the finale to this big blockbuster movie that we've been enjoying for the past couple of years. So it very much made me think about life being like a movie, and that forced me to kind of reflect on it and think about which kind of character do you want to be within the context of a movie. You know, the vast majority of characters that are in movies are people that live in the background, for all intents and purposes, extras, if you will. And I think that, you know, the vast majority of people on the planet at the minute are very much extras. We can't control much, you know, governments are in charge of everything. And I think that this pandemic in particular has really made me question what is in my sphere of control in terms of how can I improve my own life for the better, and what can I do that's realistic to make my life a better place. I think we've all probably got noble aspirations of changing the world and making the world a better place, maybe running for a kind of prime minister or president, but for 99.9% of us, that is not going to happen. And I think that when you realise that, and when you come to that kind of realisation, you know, that in the grand scheme of things, you're probably not going to be that important, then you can really kind of start making worthwhile changes to improve the quality of your own little existence. Maybe for some people it sounds kind of like pessimistic in some ways, but I prefer to kind of take the viewpoint that it's a realistic stance on how the real world is. So like in the past with my videos, I've always tried to offer the unique selling point of trying to make people evaluate their own lives in some way and think about how they can improve it for the better. So like obviously as part of that process I've had to go through it myself. And I think that the one thing that's come out of this pandemic and the way that I approach life is the fact that, you know, I've got a renewed sense of purpose when it comes to, you know, keeping safe those relationships that really mean a lot to me. You know, looking after your family, your friends. Very, very important things, and things that we can all do more in terms of safeguarding and preserving those relationships. And I think, you know, it's horrible to think that it took such a gargantuan event like a pandemic to kind of, you know, make me think about this on a deeper level. But doing just basic things like visiting my parents a little bit more, ringing me nan on the weekends and going to visit her, you know, trying to kind of sort out meets between my friends, which is increasingly hard when you get kind of over 30 and people have settled down and got families and whatnot. But I have got like a renewed focus on those simple things in life that sometimes, you know, we might lose grasp on. People often ask me like whether or not I ever see myself kind of teaching abroad when I'm older, moving to a foreign country, and I think that I've always offered the same response of no, because you can change the scenery in life in terms of, you know, going to a nicer place to live. Maybe you've got a beach there or the ocean or, you know, some kind of cultural stuff that you're really interested in. But for me, the bread and butter of my life will always be the people around me. And they're all kind of gathered in the north of England here, and that's why I'm pretty content and pretty happy here. The other aspect of my life that, you know, I want to improve is obviously my teaching. So for those of you that are like long-time followers of the channel, and I'll be honest with you, you know, no one might actually listen to this video or see it because of the length of time that I've been away from doing videos. You'll know that by trade I am a full-time secondary school teacher, with a pension for playing Call of Duty in any spare time. But, you know, it's also made me evaluate the fact that my position is such a powerful one, and that there's not any arrogance attached to that statement. It's just that, you know, in a position where you are kind of trusted to look after 30 people at a time and their hopes and dreams, you can kind of send people one way or the other. And I've heard so many horror stories in the past about teachers that have potentially put students off from doing things in life. And, you know, I feel like I want to stand up more in the future for those people that do have dreams and aspirations, and encouraging people to pursue certain lines of thinking, not just related to like English, which is obviously what I teach as a subject, but like just pursuing dreams and thinking about, you know, what you can achieve in this world. On a very basic level, another thing that the pandemic has taught me is the value of respect and just being nice to people, because, you know, having to endure like months and months of kind of like isolation and being away from people, it makes you think like how little we actually value the presence and the company of other people. And that's something that I'm really going to kind of focus on in the months coming, you know, making sure that the people that are in my life know that I'm so grateful for them being there, really. On the gaming front, I have kind of gone back to Call of Duty after like a hiatus of about 7 or 8 years of not even switching on an Xbox, let alone picking up a controller to play one of the most demanding first-person shooters in Call of Duty. So, you know, I almost feel a sense of shame in the sense that I do want to say sorry to those subscribers that, you know, followed me through thick and thin. I might not have been the biggest YouTuber in the world, but like, this is what I mean about like looking after our own little sphere. We've all got our place, you know, on this planet. We've all got our own sense of worth, and we're all valued in different ways. So like, to the people that are listening to this, and maybe no one will listen to this, you know, I can offer you one life tip today. It's be who you are, and don't be like who you think other people want you to be. For like the longest time kind of growing up, I'm in my 30s now, you know, I kind of conformed to what like other people wanted me to be in terms of the way that you kind of act and dress and all those things. And it's really only when you kind of come to terms with who you actually are as a person and what you actually like and what you actually value, and you kind of dismiss what other people think and just kind of back yourself. I feel like that was the moment of like awakening in a sense for me as a person. So I really do believe in the value of like just backing yourself and thinking about, you know, what you value on this planet and what you value about yourself as a person. So there you go, guys. I thought I'd go in deep, you know, with my first kind of commentary back. You can expect these on a regular basis now. If this is just kind of mutterings and utterances to the dark corner of YouTube that no one won't ever hear, well then I'm fine with that as well, because this is just about, as much about kind of me being content with myself as anything else. So if you are still watching after all these years, thank you very much for your support, and you know, I'm forever going to be proud to be associated with this YouTube channel. You know, 8 years ago, people kind of like looked down the nose at the idea of someone playing kind of games and commentating in the way that I did. But you know, like I say, over this time period, it's left me with lots of periods of evaluation to look at myself and think, who do you actually want to be? And that's the little nugget of wisdom that I'm going to leave you with today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing more Call of Duty wins and some zany commentaries in the same kind of mindset as this one. I have got some big things planned for the channel in the future, but let's take those baby steps first. So as always, I'm Forest Power, and it's been emotional.